All right, today we're going to deconstruct rum, one of the world's most diverse and, let's be honest, complex spirits. If you've ever felt a little lost trying to navigate the category, you're in the right place. We're here to give you a solid framework to help you really master it.
And if you answered yes to that, you are definitely not alone. So many hospitality professionals find rum to be the most misunderstood category out there. And a lot of that is because of how it's often sold and categorized. So you know what? Let's fix that. Here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with what we're calling the rum conundrum. Then we'll trace it all the way back to its source, sugarcane. After that, we'll explore a huge choice producers have to make, we'll bust the myth about rum having no rules, and finally, we'll see what really drives its incredible diversity. Okay, let's dive right in. First up, the rum conundrum. Let's really unpack why this spirit has earned this reputation for being so misunderstood. It really all comes down to one simple thing: the sugarcane plant. Every single drop of rum, it doesn't matter where it's from or what it looks like, it all starts right here, either from fresh juice or a byproduct like molasses. And that's a key distinction you have to make. Unlike a spirit like vodka, where the goal is often to distill it to be as neutral and clean as possible, rum is the exact opposite. The whole point of rum is to express the character of the sugarcane, not to erase it. This brings us to how we usually see rum organized on a shelf, by color. But here's the thing. This approach is fundamentally flawed. It's like classifying vehicles only by their paint job. A red sports car and a red pickup truck serve completely different purposes, right? The exact same logic applies to rum.
So, to really understand rum, we have to go back to the very beginning, with the raw material itself, sugarcane. When you look at sugarcane, what you're really seeing is mostly water and soluble sugar. So, job number one in rum production is pretty simple. Get that sugary juice out of the fibrous stalk of the plant.
And the process is pretty straightforward. The cane gets harvested, cleaned, sliced up, and then pressed in a mill to release all that juice. But freshness is absolutely critical here. Ideally, you want that cane processed within 24 to 36 hours of being cut to prevent the sugars from degrading.
Okay, so now we come to the first huge decision in production. It's a choice that sends the final spirit down two totally different stylistic paths.
A producer can start fermentation with that fresh, raw sugarcane juice, or they can use molasses. And molasses is simply that thick, syrupy byproduct that's left over after sugar crystals have been taken out of the juice during sugar refining. And the impact of that choice is huge. Rums made from fresh cane juice, like rum agricole from Martinique or cachaça from Brazil, they often have these bright, grassy, earthy notes. Molasses-based rums, on the other hand, and that's the vast majority of rum in the world, tend to have richer, sweeter, and toastier profiles. All right, let's move on to one of the biggest misconceptions about rum, that it's this kind of lawless, Wild West spirit category with no rules. That honestly couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is that rum doesn't have one single set of universal rules like you'd see with scotch or cognac. Instead, it has many, many sets of very specific and often very strict regional rules. This table just shows a few examples. Martinique has a rigorous AOC standard, just like French wine. Jamaica, Brazil, and Guyana all have legally protected geographical indications, or GIs, that protect their heritage, their production methods, and their quality standards. So what seems like chaos is actually this rich tapestry of distinct, legally protected traditions. These GHEs and AOCs can dictate everything from which cane varieties are allowed to how the spirit has to be aged. So how do all these factors come together to create that incredible diversity we see on the back bar? Let's connect the dots. Rum's variety isn't random. It's the direct result of deliberate choices at every single stage of production. And all of them are deeply rooted in a specific location and its traditions. It starts with the raw material, it's governed by those regional rules, and then it's shaped by unique approaches to fermentation, distillation, and aging. And this framework really helps us understand why comparing rums by color is so unhelpful. A dark, high-ester Jamaican rum, meaning it's super aromatic and funky, and a dark Demerara rum from Guyana might both be made from molasses, but their local rules and traditions create completely different spirits. We've really only scratched the surface here. That choice of raw material and, crucially, the style of fermentation have a massive impact on the final spirit's flavor. And that is exactly what we are going to cover in our next explainer. So the key takeaway here is to start moving beyond those simple color categories. To truly appreciate rum, you have to understand its immense tradition-driven diversity, which is defined by its place of origin and its production method. In short, start thinking about rum not by its color, but by its story.